Okay, hello everybody. It's Fluffy Impact, and it's been about a week since I made a video, so I haven't really felt like playing Scrolls. Well, here's the thing. I will have school, and then I'll come home, and I'll want to play games, and sometimes I tend to be talking to my friends, and I don't want, and I like listening to music, and I can't record while listening to music, so I just kind of, I don't know, slack, I suppose. But anyway, so this is a quick match again because I never get any ranked matches unless I sit and wait for like a half an hour or so. I'm just gonna have to deal with quick matches. So they got a Royal Infantryman out turn 1, and I'm going to be willing to take a damage on my Spearman to kill it or get it out of the center lane at least. And then what they do is what is I'm actually totally fine with, because what they do here, oh, by the way, in this match they take a really long time for every single one of their turns. Like sometimes I swear they had to have not been paying attention, or they have to have really bad connection. But anyway, their move is focus, so they're burning 2 cards to kill my 1 Spearman. So I'm immediately ahead with card advantage because I've got 4 resources, 3 cards. They have 3 resources, 3 cards. Well, now yeah. So basically, they spent 2 cards to get rid of my 1 Spearman. I'm totally okay with that. Plus, I have a skirmisher to play in my hand to immediately take control of the center lane. Because once you lose the center lane, it's really hard to defend. So they play. Okay, now this turn that I make here, right after I made it, I immediately regretted doing what I did. Now what I feel like now I should have done is I should have just waited, done nothing, and then next turn play the Ducal Infantryman for this, or better yet, play the Spearman as a blocker. Next turn, play the Ducal Infantryman as a surprise 1 damage and kill their other Spearman. That seemed like what I just explained would be a totally logical move. And then they have that there. So yeah, I was not thinking, and I was immediately mad at myself for making the move. But as you can see, I have an Imperial Resources in my hand, but I only have 2 cards, and I'm not really interested in sacking that Spearman. So I sack the Skirmisher for Scrolls, I believe. Yes. I play that. So I got a nice row set up. Oh, by the way, you'll notice that I'm not running Wings Shield in this deck, and that's mainly because on the normal server they haven't fixed the Puppet Soldier Nutrition combo yet. So I don't use Wing Shield simply because of that one thing, because the Spearman would be better because it's a 2-3 with Spiky 2 versus the 2-3 with absolutely no abilities. Well, pretty much no ability if something. And as you can see, I finally hit control. So, but nothing really happened that needed to be seen, so luckily I didn't do it like towards the end of the video, so I'm glad I remembered. So as you can see, this guy is making his moves at a breakneck pace, and he finally decides, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna throw down a crossbowman, and he decimations me, killing off my skirmisher. Because my play for next turn was going to be to pother that thing, and that actually surprised me because you don't see decimation a lot. And I'm pretty sure that this person wasn't running Speed Mangonel Focus, because you'll be able to see why I think that later, because I just don't feel like they were, because in this game they never even went past 6 resources. And so yeah, they had I don't even know if I would call it a semi-aggro order deck, because my order deck is definitely the like normal late game order. Well, I guess it's somewhat tempo, because you know, you just kind of try to just kind of keep alive and then slowly deal damage. But yeah, I guess I'd say mine is more of a, well, I wouldn't call it a control deck either, because there aren't any board wiping spells in order. Our board wipe is Mangonel Speed Focus. That's what our board wipe consists of. So they bother my spearmen, kill my infantrymen, which makes me sad, because I would have been able to kill that crossbowman next turn with my other spearmen. But people have spells, and they just sit here. I'm really sorry. I'm trying to just remain as possibly interesting as I can when what they're doing is taking 90 seconds to make a move. I'm not complaining. It's fine when I play against something like that, but I just don't like it when I just don't like having to make people sit through that. I don't mind when people take the time to make their moves when I'm playing, because obviously they want to make the right move, and I can't blame them. So next turn is going to be very scary for me. Got 2 skirmishers and a crossbowman attacking, and I have 2 spearmen. It's just not pretty right now, not pretty. And they Blessing of Haste him, and pother my weaker spearmen out of the way, kill the one that's attacking next turn. Or they flip it out of the way, I think. Yep, flip it to the corner. Because I remember distinctly making this next move. So that was probably their fastest turn ever. So I got that transposition. So what I decided to do is get my Vanguard to safety, because, you know, he's a Vanguard. Even though he's supposed to lead the way into battle, he is going to be hiding away. As you can see, I am running new orders because I was trying to try out order scrolls I never really used before, and new orders actually has helped me a lot early game before. Like, I will be down in the corner with a skirmisher or something, and they'll be taking mid lane. I'll just play a quick ducal infantryman, new orders, swing up the skirmisher and take out somebody. It's nice. People say transposition does the same thing, but au contraire, you can move your whole army with new orders. You can only move one unit with, well, yeah, one unit with, I cannot, my thoughts are not with me today. You can only move one unit with transposition, but you get the card draw, so I got lucky on that Kabonk there. So what I do, I send him mid and play out the spearman. So he's got a Vanguard of his own right there. Yeah, that Vanguard's not going to do a whole lot on his own. 3 damage is obviously pretty good, but if you had a choice between one skirmisher or one Vanguard, I'd choose the one skirmisher. So he plays his own spearman, and he's got a winged soldier. So this is not a very typical order deck I'm playing right now. The only time I see the only thing I've really used winged soldier in is when I thought about using it in place of the ducal infantryman, but then I thought, well, the ducal infantryman can be used as a surprise 1 damage. It's pretty much, you could kind of think of it as, if you got a guy attacking that turn, you throw in an extra Ragged Wolf or something for growth. It's a nice surprise 1 damage you can throw in, and it has more health than a winged soldier, but winged soldier it doesn't. And so as you can see, I left my units there in the middle, which might not have been the best, but they would have killed my middle idol there, which would not have been fun, to say the least. So I'm going to lose my entire army, but I have a Waking Stones in hand because I like Waking Stones. It is I can't remember. I think I'm running 3 of it in this deck. I haven't played Scrolls in like a week and a half. I think I'm running 3 Waking Stones and 2 New Orders in this deck. And so I haven't gotten a single speed yet, and I haven't seen one of my generals. So I've got this Mangonel and this Focus in my hand, and I'm thinking I'm feeling pretty good. Oh yeah, you can see they played that Crown of Strength, which was also a little bit confusing to me. This guy's messing with my head, and so I get the Imperial Resources, but now's not really the time to play it. So I just play the Waking Stones to protect the middle idol, which ends up being key because this person really doesn't want to take the time to kill the Waking Stones. And they get out a general, and this gets me scared. So now I am really just so badly. I need this so badly right now. I need a speed. And so I draw a Pother, and this is the longest I ever think of what to do. I'm thinking, should I Pother just to draw another card and see if it's a speed? What do I do? I decide I'm going to Kabonk him, so I'm just going to play a general eventually, but I'm debating on Pothering to draw and playing the Ducal Skirmisher, but I just elect to play a general eventually. So this was such a hard decision for me. I had no idea what to do. I was at a loss, to say the least. I even considered playing the Mangonel there for a minute just to start its cooldown in case I didn't draw a speed, but then I decided against it because I hadn't drawn a single speed yet, so my chances of drawing a speed at this point were getting fairly decent because I've cycled through a fair amount of my deck, so chances are I'm going to be getting a speed soon is what my thinking was, and so I just decided that I would play the general, which was logical enough. And so now this person is going to contemplate his move at an unbelievably quick pace. Here he goes. He moves down the Vanguard. He moves down the Skirmisher. And the Skirmisher and the Vanguard are lined up to exterminate. He moves over the Crossbowmen in order to protect his Vanguard and his guy, which I find a little bit pointless. I would have just left the guy where he was, or maybe better yet, I probably would have swung over the Spearman and put the Crossbowmen behind the Spearman and left those 2 open because 3 damage isn't going to do a whole lot, and I wasn't about to use my focus on that Vanguard, so what I probably would have done was protect my Crossbowmen because it represents a lot of damage, and that is scary. So they're thinking about this for a minute, and what you see they're going to do is they're going to play a Ducal one guy and a Crossbowman up there. Now this... Wow, my video is skipping a bit, sorry. So if the audio is about a little bit off the sync. Anyway, so if they would have played the Ducal... that was a big misplay, because if they would have played the Ducal Infantryman down there in front of the Vanguard, that would have allowed them to win this game. They would have won this game. And I'll show you why in a bit. And geez, I'm getting massive lag in this video, and I have no idea why. And I am fearing that I'm going to have to narrate this entire thing again, but hopefully I won't. So I'm kind of debating on what I'm going to do at this point. And so I eventually decide what I'm just going to do is move him back, play the Mangonel, and take out the Vanguard and the one guy. And focus. You may have noticed a skip there. But, so that makes me feel pretty good, and my plan for next turn is to Blessing of Haste. Sorry. I'm going to Blessing of Haste, get that Mangonel to attack, get that Skirmisher to attack, and it pretty much clears the board, but he does something a little bit unexpected. So this is why they would have won. You'll see right here. See what they could have done. See what they do here. Double focus. That's just dandy, right? So they're gonna kill that idol, right? Now, I know they wouldn't kill that idol with, what do you call it? Without the infantrymen, but you'll see what they do here. They play speed on that guy. So what they could have done is focus that guy once, sped him and focused him, and he would have done 7 damage to that top idol. They would have killed that idol. I would have been able to, I would have had to defend the top, middle, and bottom lane. And they would have been able to, I am fairly confident that they would have killed me. Just saying. So, yeah, misplay, but I suppose if you went back through, you would figure maybe they wouldn't kill me completely. Anyway, you can see that was my plan. I was going to wipe the board now. And so now I'm feeling fairly good, but what I do here is a little bit of a bad decision on my part. I feel like what I should have done here was moved my Vanguard up, because if they would have played anything and then a speed, I would have been gone. I would be pretty much done. Wait, that was my thinking. But now I realize I would have 3 idols anyway, so I don't know why I was so nervous about over that. I could have just slid down and taken those bottom 3. So I don't know why I thought I lost there. But to do that, I was expecting actually Royal Skirmisher speed for that. But so I move over here. I believe what I do is I sack for resources and play the imp resources. So I feel a little bit safer with my idols. And I'm getting skips again, which is making me a little bit irritated. And I'm still not feeling real confident here, because while I have a general on the field and I have Waking Stones defending my middle idol, I know they have flip, so they could. I was a little bit hesitant. Well, I wasn't hesitant at all to play the Waking Stones at the moment, but at the moment I had to, because it was pretty much do or die at that point. But if it were at a point now, I would be hesitant to play the Waking Stones, because simply they could flip it in like a middle area, and that really messes up unit placement. But yeah, Waking Stones, I am fairly sure won me this game. That buys you time, and so they play their own Waking Stones, which I really wasn't expecting, because I don't think anybody. I think I've played against Waking Stones once in like the last. Okay, out of all the times I've played Scrolls Online, multiplayer, I'm pretty sure I've seen somebody play Waking Stones against me. People. I'm talking people, not how many times they play it total. I'm saying maybe 2-3 people have played it against me. But that was when I just started playing, when Waking Stones was more popular, and then people started, and then Flip and Friends became really popular, and that caused things to die. So I decided to take out it makes Waking Stones kind of get in the way. But I decide, instead of taking out the Waking Stones, I'm just gonna go for that middle idol and get an idol down. So now their skirmisher can either kill my mangonel or my infantrymen, and they go for the infantrymen, I remember. So my idols were on their last legs, and I finally got that board wipe. So their deck was a kind of fast-paced deck. It definitely wasn't. And see, I would think by this point they would have the ability to play a Mangonel Speed Focus, unless what they were doing was sacking all the Mangonels they got, because they thought, oh, this is going good, I'm not going to need it. Yeah, I've done that before and regretted it, so I've kind of gotten to the point where if I draw a Mangonel, I'm not going to sacrifice it unless I draw another one and I'm in decent board condition. It's always good to have a Mangonel and a Speed in your back pocket. Unless you have decent board control and a general, then I tend to spend my speeds, but it is good to have that board wipe if you need it. And so they're going down to the clock this time. So I'm trying to give as interesting commentary as I can, my thoughts. Obviously, I'm not an authority or anything. So I'm not like I want to say the authority over and over again. I'm not necessarily, let's see, I'm not the authority on scrolls, whatever, I'm gonna say that, because there's stuff I don't know. Tactics wise, I'm probably not the best, but I'm just telling you what I feel works for me and what I like to do. So at this point, it's a board wipe, and you can probably see the time is winding down a bit. So I think right here they contemplate their move for a little bit, and I believe they surrender this turn. So, or they were fishing for Mangonel Speed Focus, Mangonel Speed, whatever. But here we go. I'm pretty sure what they do is surrender, because they did in fact surrender. I remember that. So GG Yan, and I'm trying to say GG well played, and I'm just floundering around on my keyboard messing it up. So well played. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.